Hey, what's up, y'all? And of course, welcome to another Alternative Factuals video. First of all, I want to start the episode once again. Happy New Year, even though I did this for the first video of the new year. And also be sure to check out the podcast that I'm doing. It's going to be coming out bi-weekly. Did one last week, so I guess you could expect one next week going forward. And I'll do it where it's like I'm promoting the podcast on the channel on the regular videos. And then, like I said, occasionally I'll probably release them on the channel so you can get a chance to listen to them. And then when COVID's over, I'll do video parts to it so that way you can watch it. But we have a lot to discuss today. A good amount of information about DC Future State is definitely popping off in the comic book community, as well as we get some more information about some things. But before I dive specifically into Tim Fox being Batman and the new Wonder Woman and even some information about Black Lightning, please be sure to like, share, and of course subscribe. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you're feeling. And without further or possible ado, let's kind of just dive into today's video. Okay, so I'm going to do this in this particular order. I want to talk about Batman, DC Future State when it comes to Tim Fox. I'm going to talk about Black Lightning, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, regarding who is this new Wonder Woman. So starting off with Batman, I enjoyed the first issue. It wasn't like anything crazy. But ultimately we do see that Gotham has made a crazy change. It's a lot more militant. It's a lot more, I guess there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes where like Gotham itself seems to be vigilante. So even though Batman, Tim Fox does still exist, and so does the Fox family, as of right now, we don't know where Bruce Wayne is. We don't know where Dick Grayson is. We don't know where, Damian is. We don't know where anyone is except for the Fox family. So the story as of right now is focusing simply on the Fox family. So we already know that Tim Fox is Batman, but also in reality, this is just a mini series. So these stories are only serving to launch or kind of progress into something else even bigger. So we're going to get more storytelling aspects that's related to this whole DC Future State and the fact that Tim Fox is actually going to be the Batman that we're seeing. At least that's what we know so far. Now the cool thing is, in this story, you can tell that Luke Fox and Tim Fox are not necessarily on the greatest of terms. One, because even though Tim Fox does have the military experience, there seems to be some sort of falling out between them two regarding the fact that Tim did not come back home directly after he was in the military for whatever reason that may be, but I'm pretty sure we'll find out those details later on. So moving right along. Now, if you're reading the Batman, the next Batman, DC Future State, it's also tied into the story revolving around Katana as well as Black Lightning. Now, I'm not going to talk about Katana because I'm not going to talk about the whole story in general, but one thing we need to realize is Black Lightning has had his power officially increased dramatically. But obviously, like I said in an older video related more to the TV show than it does to DC Future State, it came at a massive price. Ultimately, Black Lightning was cursed to stay in this pure energy form. Now, we do know Black Lightning did have this ability previously, and he was able to, transform himself into energy and then back to his human form. But this time, due to dark magic, very powerful dark magic, he was bound to maintain his energy form, as we saw from the panel when he's talking to Katana about the fact that, there's more to things meeting the eye regarding the gang member and the ones that she apprehended. But like I said, I'm not going to dive too deep into the story. That's something I want people to know regarding DC Future State. Jefferson Pierce was missing for a few years. So it does give us some sort of time frame relatively in terms of when things are happening. So we already know it's been a few years since, this whole event, I guess, taking place with the present DC story and then DC Future State. So it's been a few years, but ultimately we do know Jefferson is still alive, but he's just stuck in this Black Lightning form. When he struck down to the ground, he was, I guess, defined as this obsidian lightning. So he's around, but he's just kind of playing this, very powerful watcher kind of thing where he can still interact with people. He still has pretty much his powers, and his powers are pretty much in overdrive, but ultimately he cannot have or kind of live his regular life. So that's something we need to keep in mind moving forward. So let's go to Aquaman. Now, Aquaman Future State #1 is going to be, I think, coming out January 26th, so in a couple weeks. But basically this is Jackson Hyde, the son of Black Manta, who took the mantle of Aquaman. But also, he's going to be a mentor to Andy Curry, and this is basically Arthur and Mira's teen daughter. So I guess the story kind of circles around her and him kind of getting to know each other, as well as the whole fact that, you know, his past, as well as, you know, the relationship between his family and Aquaman's family, or the original Arthur Curry, you know, Aquaman's family. That's going to be one of the things in the story. But as you can see, there's a very common theme here going across in DC Future State. Batman is now black. Well, Black Lightning has always been black, but Aquaman is black. And then for the next part of this, you know, Wonder Woman is going to be pretty much Brazilian, but she's a person of color. So you see, like, across the board, DC's making changes to kind of include people of color more in this new kind of, I guess, soft reboot for DC Comics, I guess. So, like I said, I didn't get into Wonder Woman yet, but I just want you to notice there's a pattern. You know, it's no longer these, you know, Caucasian white looking characters anymore. For a lot of the fundamental characters who play a part of, who play a serious part of the Justice League are officially kind of taking on a more black mantle. You know, the mantles itself are people of color, and something that is often misconstrued by a lot of Comicsgate people in regards to, you know, characters playing different races, is that people forget Batman is a mantle. Batman is not inherently belonging to Bruce Wayne. Is he the most prominent? Is he the most popular? Did he invent the mantle? Absolutely. But Bruce Wayne himself has said it. The mantle of Batman does not, you know, coexist solely for him. It is something that can be passed on to someone who he may feel worthy, or maybe sometimes Gotham City may need that Batman. And that is a mantle. The same thing with Aquaman. Aquaman is a mantle. You know, he is a king due to his bloodline. You know, his monarch is for him to be king, you know, so that's something he can't necessarily give to somebody else. You have to be born into that. But the role of Aquaman on the Justice League is a mantle that can be passed down, and so can the mantle of Wonder Woman. But also, Wonder Woman is, I think, currently missing from DC Comics due to the whole death metal situation. Her fighting with the Batman who laughs in this ethereal form, and then apparently she went on to become a part of the universe in a sense because she represented the greatest good in the universe, something like that, even though she wasn't perfect. But, you know, that's a whole thing in itself. But currently right now, she's not physically in comics. So ultimately, you see there is a theme to be going on here. There are a lot of people of color coming into very prominent roles, taking the forefront from previous people who had the mantle of their characters. So, like I said, we have Batman, obviously Black Lightning has always been black, Aquaman, and then we have Wonder Woman. But I'm kind of looking forward to seeing some of these stories when it comes to Aquaman, because it's very interesting to, one, like I said, he's black, but I know to Atlanteans, skin color doesn't really matter because they have people who look blue, so that doesn't really matter. But also, just seeing these stories when it comes to the nature of their characters, especially regarding Jackson Hyde and the fact that obviously he's the son of Black Manta. So I want to see stories like that and how they unravel, especially the interactions between their family, especially because I think this story, Aquaman #1 in Future State, is in regards to like this distant galaxy and nexus of one great ocean between the planets. I think that's really dope. So basically they're all connected via, you know, this connection of water-based, you know, planets and other alien planets that also have water. So I want to read that. I'm interested in that. So let's officially move on to Wonder Woman. Now, Wonder Woman so far, some of her panels have been leaked. Not necessarily leaked, but, you know, ultimately they have been, you know, kind of showcased. And I think her comic is due to come out, I think, next month. I don't know if it's next month or later in January of this month. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you. But we do know her first appearance was in Dark Knight's Death Metal #7, which is scheduled to come out, I think, March 2021. So even though as of right now we have not seen her, you know, in terms of, you know, her first appearance, she is still referenced in terms of that is her first appearance, especially because these stories are overlapping. So ultimately, this is what we know about her history. You know, she has a steed, or a winged faithful steed named Jerry, and she has a friend named Kapora. Basically, she's a forest guardian spirit, and then basically she travels to the underworld, and then, you know, to save her Themyscirian sisters from the clutches of Hades. You know, typical stuff when it regards to you know, the Amazonians and like Hades himself. But she has pretty much the same abilities: demigod, superhuman strength, agility. Her lasso has been upgraded, archery. You know, she's hand-to-hand combatant, swordsmanship, throwing. all that stuff. But it seems like her ethnic background is more related to Brazilian because obviously, or I would say not obviously, but much like how Diana specifically was, you know, closer tied to, you know, I think Zeus or something like that. She was a direct descendant of a god in comparison to like her Amazonian sisters, who were pretty much just all kind of created, but ultimately I think Diana was more tied closer to a god, so that's why she herself was, you know, defined as a demigod. But Yara Flor, which is, you know, the new Wonder Woman, she's Brazilian because she actually is, you know, related to a unnamed Brazilian river god who is her father. And then her mother is an unnamed Amazon, meaning there's an Amazon who pretty much hooked up with a river god and then had her. So she meets the same qualifications as pretty much Diana at this point, physically and when it comes to her lineage. So as you can see, I'm not getting to super detail about the biggest changes in DC Comics when it comes to Future State, but these are things that I want you to come and realize that there are starting to present more characters of colors. Now, even though I'm obviously a black person who I enjoy these comics, I want to know too, what is their reasoning for this? Are they doing this just for the sake of doing it, or are they really going to tell really great stories? And they just so happen to be people of color behind these mantles. So let me know what you think about these changes of DC Future State in the comments down below. And if you're new to the channel, please be sure to like, share, and of course subscribe. Leave your comments down below, and I hope to see you later on. Peace out.